Good morning. It's Thursday, May 23rd. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. I'm Sade Campbell. I serve as the Strategic Enrollment Communications Manager here at HCC. Pleased to be joined by my co-host, Linda Davis, who serves as College Operations Office Manager for our HCC Northeast campuses. Well, good morning, Linda. How are you?
Good morning, Sade. I am wonderfully great.
It's been a while. We had the break before graduation was
Right,
scheduled. I'll say it like that. It's
right.
currently getting rescheduled. So it's been a couple weeks since we've been able to get back on the mic and in the studio and on camera and all those good things. And where did May go? Why did it just zoom past like that?
It
Why
was your birthday month.
it was the birthday month, and I don't know. I mean, it was a lot of things. It really stole the month from us. I can't believe it's June right now. But I think everybody's looking forward to summer. This is kind of a quiet week on campus as we gear up for our
Yes,
summer sessions to
yes.
start
Summer
getting.
brings in changes, such as my new due.
And you know what you're doing? That.
That.
I love it.
Thank you.
Well, for those who are just tuning in, don't even know that it's a new due, tell them how they can watch previous episodes, catch up, or watch future ones.
We're live on Houston Community College District's Facebook page, not HCC, and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10.
All right, thanks so much for that, Linda. Well, today is Thursday Family Fun Day, as it always is on Thursday here on HCC TV's Up to the Minute, and we're spotlighting a favorite local museum for winning a coveted national award for the first time since 1997. They are no stranger to the show. It is the Children's Museum. Pleased to have Rayanne Darensbourg, who is the CEO for the Children's Museum of Houston, and our Thursday Family Fun Day guest. Welcome to the show, Rayanne.
Thank you. Glad to be here with you all.
I know you all are going to have an incredible conversation. There's so much I know y'all probably have lined up for the summer for Houston and our youth. You and Linda are going to have a good conversation in just a second. But first, we're looking forward to learning more about HCC's Quality Enhancement Plan and its MyHCC Pathway tool. Joining us to talk about it is Jeremy Estrella, who's the director of HCC's Quality Enhancement Plan and works in the Division of Strategy, Planning, and Institutional Effectiveness. Welcome to the show, Jeremy.
Thank you, Sade. And you said my last name correctly. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I told him right before, I said, I'm going to get it.
You nailed it. You nailed it.
There we go. Well, and welcome to HCC. It's really only been a couple months since you've been here. Yeah. And they were like, you know what? We're putting you on the mic. We found out.
That's how it works, right? Happy to be here.
Yes. Well, we're always looking for ways to improve the student experience at HCC. And today we're going to talk about what role the Quality Enhancement Plan, also known as QEP, because one thing that HCC and higher ed loves is a good acronym.
Yeah. So many acronyms.
So the Quality Enhancement Plan is QEP, just establishing that early on, and it's designed to really elevate student success. But student success is nuanced and means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. So before we dive into the Quality Enhancement Plan, let's talk a little bit about student success. How would you define it personally?
Yeah, and I know it varies and it depends, and it means regardless of why a student is with us, what they're coming to HCC to achieve, we're providing the support, the resources that they need to be successful. So some of our students are transfer students. So how do we provide that wraparound support to help them transfer, for example, to University of Houston? Some are here part-time, just taking a class maybe for professional development. So how do we provide that support to them? It's understanding as much about our students as possible and providing that support so they can achieve their goals.
I love that, because personalization is is the foundation of student success. Because
Absolutely.
And I definitely hear the passion in your answer, and the passion is shared by so many people in higher education, and specifically here at HCC. So what was your journey to higher ed? I know personally, I say higher ed chose me. When I was in college, I would have never told you that I was going to be working for a college, but for a lot of people, it was their intended career path. So what was your journey to higher ed and then to HCC?
Yeah, so my journey started as an adjunct instructor in Los Angeles, California. And so I was what was called a freeway flyer. I was at several different colleges and universities and high schools as well as a dual credit instructor teaching. And I really love that. And I didn't know I'd be a good teacher, but I really enjoy teaching. But I wanted some job security. So I looked for a full-time job. I got a full-time job teaching communication studies and journalism up in Portland, Oregon at Portland Community College. And then I wanted to make the switch to administration, and I wanted to look at strategy and look at policies and procedures and how we can affect the structure and organization to really support students holistically. And so I went into a dean role and then associate vice president role. And now here I am today, here director of the QEP here at Houston Community College.
And it seems like every stop on your path, once people get the definition and really what quality enhancement plan, they're going to see every stop on your path really led to a role like this, that intersection of student success, instruction, and things. So you were designed for this role. I did not. I had a suspicion, but I've confirmed it now.
Thank you.
So for those who aren't a student or not in higher ed, how would you explain the quality enhancement plan to them and what it is trying to achieve for HCC students?
Yeah, so to start, the quality enhancement plan is an accreditation requirement under SACS, COC. There's another acronym, Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges. And so it's a requirement, and at the same time, it's what we could do to provide support to help improve the student experience and student learning institutionally across the board so that every student is receiving that kind of support. And so the quality enhancement plan is a 5-year process. It's designing what that's going to look like, and then it's implementing that. And so the design is around personalized learning, getting to know as much about our students as possible. The more we could tailor that learning experience to our students, we know their challenges, we know their major. Once we figure that out, we could provide the support they need to be successful. So I used to teach public speaking, and when I taught that class, I would ask my students, what's the first thing you want to know about your audience? You want to know about your audience, right? You want to know about your audience before you give a speech. Same thing when it comes to our students. We want to know about our students so we could tailor the experience to them.
Love that. And I don't want to zoom past the personalized part, because that is the core of the plan. So just to run that back, we have to produce a quality enhancement plan as part of us being an accredited institution. Yes. But we decide what the focus of that plan is. Yeah. And we decided that it was going to be personalized learning.
Yes.
And like you said, that's so important to student success, because student success is very personal to each student. So one of the goals of the quality enhancement plan was implementing something called our MyHCC Pathway tool. So how does MyHCC Pathway, how is it designed to improve the student experience, and tell people a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so MyHCC Pathway is a key strategy of our QEP. And it's meant to encompass all the other strategies within a holistic, centralized repository. So there's a questionnaire that a student fills out. They fill out that questionnaire. We discover more about their student, like I said, their career plans, their major, what challenges they might encounter, what their learning style is, what kind of support they need. And then anyone who is working with that student could go into that questionnaire and discover, what that student is all about. How do we support that student the best that we can? We, for example, an advisor could go in there when they're working with a student and see, oh, they need this kind of support. This is their major. Here's how I can support this student. A tutor could go in there as well and say, oh, they need some math support, and here's what they're wanting to major in, and here are their goals, and also here are some of their challenges. How could I provide the best personalized support to that student? So it's meant to change over time in the student's journey, and it's meant to provide those interventions and support to make sure the student stays on path, MyHCC Pathway, stay on track to completion, to their goals, really.
Love that. And what sticks out the most to me is every role at the institution has different levels of access. They have different levels of how many times they are able to connect to a student per semester. So they may hear a specific declared need from a student, but not have any insight to other needs that a student may have. So this, like you said, is a designated hub space where you could go learn about a student, because a lot of times we have to go off an assumption, or we have to just go off what the student is telling me in this moment right now.
Yeah, we don't want to assume we know our students.
Mhm.
We want to know the student story. We want to know the student narrative. And MyHCC Pathway tool, it has communication and notes as an aspect of that. So we could go in there and see what that story is all about. And the student doesn't have to keep retelling that story every time that they're working with another practitioner here at HCC. That practitioner could just pick up the pieces, figure out what support is needed, know that student, and then take the next step to support them.
I love that. I want to lean into not having to retell
Yeah.
your story, because nothing makes me angrier than escalating a customer service call for myself. And it's like, so tell me what the problem is. If you don't listen to what the other person just told you. So that
Yeah.
is like really a key piece. And I know the My Pathway tool just launched, but
Yes.
do you have any success stories or data around it that is an indicator of we need to scale this more, or what it's
Yeah.
really doing to help our students?
Yeah, so we piloted it this last spring in 15 EDUC 1300 classes, which is the college success class. It reached about 400 or so students, 415 or so. And we're noticing that the students are utilizing the services more than the comparison group. So the comparison group was the spring of 2023 to spring 2024, and they're going to advising. They're also seeking out tutoring services more so than that comparison group. And so we're noticing that the students are receiving those referrals. So for example, an aspect of the tool is an instructor could put a referral in and say, I want to make sure you go see tutoring. And the student would go and see tutoring. So we're seeing, we heard a success story from a faculty member in our focus groups talking about a student who did that, and they went to tutoring, they received math support. So that was the support they needed in their classes. And that student was successful in the class and completed. Now, this is the pilot, but we want to track that student and all the other students to see if they're retained, to see if we need to pivot and adjust what kind of services and how we form that tool to support students. But it's early, but we're seeing some good signs so far.
And we have to wrap. It seems like we have to wrap early, but we talked a lot about just how much potential this tool has beyond the pilot. So a lot of exciting work happening around student success. We want to thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Jeremy.
you.
We've been talking to Jeremy Estrella, who is the director of HCC's Quality Enhancement Plan in the Office of Strategy Planning and Institutional Effectiveness. We'll have details posted after the show if you want to learn more about our QEP. Thanks so much for joining us, Jeremy.
Thank you, Sade. Appreciate it.
All right, I'm going to kick it over to you, Linda.
Awesome. So glad to have Jeremy on board. We're moving on to Rayanne Darensbourg, the CEO for the Children's Museum Houston, and our Thursday Family Fun Day guest. We want to start by saying congratulations, Rayanne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, the Institute of Museums and Library Services has named Children's Museum Houston, along with Harris County Public Library, 2 of the 10 recipients of the National Medal for Museum and Library Services.
Yeah.
So what makes this award historic for Houston?
Well, it's historic for Houston on 2 fronts. One, an institution, a museum or library has not been named in Houston a winner of this national medal, which is like the Oscars and the Emmy in the world of library and museums, in 27 years. So that's a very long time for us. And it's the first time in history of this national honor going to a library and a museum in the same city the same year.
That is awesome. Now, I understand that the award ceremony is in Washington, D.C. Are you going? And what are the winners judged on?
Well, yes, we're going. We don't have a date yet, but we're heading to the White House to receive our national medal, and we're very excited. We're going to be bringing a community citizen with us who's been impacted by the museum, so we're looking forward to taking that journey together. And the judges looked overall at our museums and said, who is providing unparalleled sources of education, cultural resources, really bridging the gap between those that need access and those that don't, and the experiences that community citizens, parents and children need and deserve, and that we really stood out above the rest.
Wow, and I hear these recipients are from New York to Arizona.
Yes, yes. So it is, it's a very big deal, and we're excited. We are one of the only children's museums in this group. So it's museums, cultural institutions, natural sciences, just a variety of museums selected.
Will represent H-Town well.
Absolutely.
So, what does it mean to the Children's Museum to receive the award?
For us, it's so special. For us, it's just one of those moments where we're like, you know what? Recognizing and symbolizing our success. For us, it's saying that we're doing a fantastic job of ensuring that every family has access to the best science, technology, engineering, math, literacy, cultural experiences when it comes to our exhibits and our programming. And at the end of the day, that we're really equipping children to dream big and reach their fullest potential. And we know that we have to be that in the community and for the community.
Well, I read that the library folks believe it's fitting that the Children's Museum was also awarded this honor in the same year because your missions run parallel. Do you agree?
I would agree. I would agree. I think that we both do an exceptional job of really stepping up and really thinking about, in this day and age when public education is not always fairly accessible or adequately resourced, that we can both think about how do we use our resources to make sure that there's access and available to our programming, our enrichment opportunities that really inspire parents and children and really nurture lifelong learning.
Well, you were nominated by U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and others. What reasons did they give?
Well, some of the reasons that really stood out is one, that we see visitors. We have over 700,000 visitors that come to our museum every year. And of that, 35% are coming free of charge. And part of that reasoning is that we want to make sure that cost is not a barrier, and those that are in need are receiving the ability to be here. So our partnership network of over 1,000 nonprofits across this city allows us to do that and be that for our community. 100% of our outreach programming, and we serve another 120,000 outside of the walls of our museum, are of no cost to participants. We're able to do an exceptional job of having our foundation and corporate partners really step up in very powerful and bold ways. We're in over 270 locations with our outreach. And we serve another 100,000 visitors in our Fort Bend sister museum, the Children's Discovery Center. And all of our program is facilitated in English and Spanish, which just makes for a very welcoming environment.
Wow, I know that the city of Houston is very diverse.
Yes.
So now also Harris County Public Libraries was also nominated by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, as well as Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher. What did its nomination highlight?
Well, you know, the library has so many branches across the county. And especially during COVID and coming out of COVID, they really recognized that not all kids and families had access to computers and Wi-Fi. And in this day and age, we all need that, right? For work, for learning. And they were able to leverage their emergency grant funds to create access for residents to have internet services and devices for school and work. And that's pretty powerful in this city that's so spread out. It's hard to get places, but if we can get the internet to you, you can have what you need.
Well, I have to let you in on a little secret. I have visited your children's museum with my son. He's now a sophomore in college, and it was an awesome experience. It was a family outing on a field trip, and it was the best. So thank you all for being there for us. We want to thank you again, Rayanne Darensbourg, CEO for the Children's Museum Houston, and the Thursday Family Fun Day guests. We'll have your information in the post after the show. Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Such an incredible honor. I guess I really, when I read the show notes, I didn't realize they are going to the White House. And the Children's Museum is really incredible. I've done some programming on some community work, and really a good friend of Henry, who always makes sure that the Children's Museum is on this show on HCCTV up to the minute. So thanks for always remembering us, Henry. And shout out to the Children's Museum on their honor, more than deserving. Great interview, Linda. We're going to wrap out with some more announcements, true to HCCTV fashion. Now, if you're looking for something else other than the Children's Museum to do this summer with your kids, HCC has community dance classes for youth, teens, and adults. HCC's community learning is offering several dance classes and one mat Pilates classes this summer. Prices range from $44 to $89, and they begin in June at HCC's Spring Branch campus. Registration info will be posted after the show, and I'll be doing YouTube tutorials as well.
We're coding with AI and robotics for summer camp. HCC Northeast Summer Camp participants will learn about coding with artificial intelligence and robotics free of charge. Again, free of charge, and lunch is provided. It'll be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, June 24th through 28th at the North Forest campus, which is 6010 Little York Road, Houston, Texas, 77016. You don't want to miss it. Registration is available, but it is first come, first serve, so you want to get in there quick.
All right, a lot of good opportunities at HCC for the youth this summer. We put the community in Houston Community College. So for those in our community that are looking to get started or return back to school, it is that time of year where we have summer and fall registration open. And listen, if you have not enrolled for summer and fall yet, you know what that means? You're probably trying to do it by yourself. You're probably taking it one by one. You're going through your checklist items. You're calling, you're asking one question, but you really haven't gotten to a place where you get a comprehensive overview of all the steps that you need to take to get admitted and enrolled in HCC. And I'm here to tell you that you need to sign up for an admissions information session. That is a place where you're going to get what you need to stop doing things one by one. Our admissions advising team is here to help you in virtual information sessions to guide you through it all. Whether you have questions about applying, financial aid, international advising, or academic programming, our admissions advisors are going to be there to walk you through it in that session. It'll be virtual. Sign up. Details will be posted after the show.
All right, it's time to put a little pep in your step. And I'm not talking about a Fitbit. It's that time of year for our PEPs. The year-end review process for 23-24 must have PEP documents with a status of acknowledged by June for every employee. Visit MyHCC for step-by-step instructions, or you can contact your talent relations senior partner. The deadlines are June 1st for the 9-month full-time faculty and part-time adjunct faculty, and June 30th for 10-month full-time faculty and full-time faculty and staff. Check the post after the show.
All right. Well, you know what May means. It means that we are we are wrapping out. Well, you know what wrapping out May means. It always means that we are pausing in commemoration and remembrance for Memorial Day. So as a reminder for HCCTV, we will not have up to the minute airing on Memorial Day, and we will return on that Tuesday. But tune in for a Best of HCCTV episode on Monday, and we will return with Up to the Minute on Tuesday.
Fall registration is now open. I'm shouting it to the hills. Registration for fall semester has now officially started, and regular and smaller semesters offered in a variety of programs. Like all HCC courses for summer and fall, they are offered online anytime, online on a schedule, hybrid, both face-to-face and partially virtual, in-person, and hybrid lab. To learn more about HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover costs, visit us at hccs.edu/apply.
All right, well, coming up tomorrow, HCC Southwest President Dr. Madeline Barillo Hopkins will discuss the upcoming Workforce Development Symposium and Job Fair at our HCC Missouri City campus. And for Film Friday, we'll welcome the return of Sarah Gaston, who will conduct a self-taping workshop for commercials to ensure your acting style fits the brand. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of Up to the Minute. We'll see you next time.